press conference. We are a lot of quiet. We're about to start. We don't get the full complement of this press conference, and so on behalf of the ministry, the minister and deputy, I want to welcome everybody to another press conference. Today, 18th March 2025. We'll introduce the panelists there before we continue. On the left, getting your brother from Myanmar, Honorable Mustafa M. Sello, the Deputy Chairman, Finance Committee at the House of Parliament. On the immediate right, I just don't talk about the connections to Myanmar. I should say, Commissioner General also knows that I get a connection. Through you, brother Guzebul, but then also every syllable come up and their explanation to me. We gladly forget the Commissioner General of National Revenue Authority, NRA. He said they also with me today. I mean, the topic will be about revenue and national SIAM, which government they do for raise adequate resources. Then I get my other brother on the far right, when Matthew Dingy. We all know Matthew Dingy. We know say he's seasoned public and civil servant. He's an expert at the Ministry of Finance, and he happens to be the financial sector. So very full compliments now. But now we start off with the weekly news updates. Yeah, so today, 18th March 2025, news updates. St. Michael's, Barbados, on the 12th of March 2025. We know say His Excellency the President that Julius Madam will be Wakade, and the purpose of that visit is for doing vital role of energy in driving industrial growth. So this is not just energy for consumption and energy for industrialization for economic activity. 90% will be good for. We know say the 2025 Sustainable Energy for All Global Forum, and they organized that event in Barbados. So His Excellency the President was invited. Where His Excellency the President will talk to world leaders there and private sector representatives. He highlights the small and medium-sized enterprise thrive on stable and affordable electricity. President Leone also stressed the electrification provides stability and security, particularly for families in rural areas were affected by energy poverty, and he affirmed Saloni's commitment for expand energy access for sustainable development. On Tuesday, March 11, 2025, Parliament of Salon passed the National Counter-Terrorism Act of 2024 into law, following some amendments. I mean, the Honourable Member of Parliament there, we will be part of that conversation there, and I pass on. The Act aims to establish a national counter-terrorism coordinating committee and address various aspects of counter-terrorism-related issues. It outlined offences related to terrorism, enforcement measures concerning terrorist funds and assets, and prohibit financial support for terrorism, amongst other related matters. During the presentation of the Legislative Committee report to the plenary session of the committee to the whole House, the chairman, Honorable Abdul Suleiman Mike Ponte, we are 69, the head of the Legislative Committee in the Parliament, explained the amendments the amendment that they made to the bill. They also note changes to sentences, content clauses, penalties, and terms of imprisonment, among other adjustments there. The bill was introduced by the Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Sabtiu Elizabeth Sako. The Anti-Corruption Commission and the Directorate of Science, Technology and Innovation can collaborate for modernized Sierra Leone's asset declaration form. We also say the asset declaration at Tiwari, we all as public and civil servants, and they do on a yearly basis. And so now how for digitize them basically and improve the accessibility to our various public and civil servants. The ACC has long championed transparency through its mandatory asset declaration process for public officials. For enhance this system, the ACC done transition to an online platform in 2017, making it mandatory in 2024. However, many officials face challenges on ability or usability and technical issues, leading to a decline in compliance. The FTI, now the partner of ACC, for develop a new Sierra Leone asset declaration system aimed at improving efficiency and user experience. On the 10th of March 2025, during the 69th session of the Commission of the Status of Women, New Rio Minister of Information and Civic Education, Honorable Chair Bar, been discussed President Julius Madabio's initiative for protect adolescent girls' their rights. Minister Bar highlighted the government's commitment to the free quality education program, to the eliminate financial barriers, university scholarship scheme for girls in STEM and at the science, education, and then Canada facting in the field. He notes the key measures, including repealing the ban on pregnant girls, Hands Off Our Girls initiative, there's an establishment of a sexual offences called for creating a safe environment for girls there. Additionally, he mentioned economic empowerment programs aimed at supporting girls through the social safety net and entrepreneurship. Minister Barry affirmed President Bio's dedication to collaborating with partners for the protection and empowerment of women and girls as a whole. On Monday, 17th March 2025, we know say Mr. Khalil Tutange, I should say most of them journalists there, so there's a name and a very familiar and household names in the media landscape. Mr. Khalil Tutange and Mrs. Swallow, then go say thank you and then take leave of His Excellency President of President Bio. We don't give them appointments for let them go out and go serve this country now the United Nations. President Bio congratulate them, expressing confidence in their abilities and assure them of the ultimate support as they embark on their new roles there. They emphasize the importance of the experience of fulfilling their responsibilities effectively. On the 13th of March 2025, in Freetown, Sierra Leone, the Sierra Leone Commission on Arms and Ammunition officially commenced the destruction of unserviceable weapons across the country, marking a significant milestone in enhancing national security and reducing the risk associated with illicit arms circulation. The nationwide exercise will begin on the 9th of March, cover locations including McKinney, Teko, Bo, and Kenema. Destruction operations in the Western area will continue from the 15th of March to March 23, 2025. So, when they destroy anything in the area, it's not a small sound and they already mentioned like what's not panic. Yeah? Because that panic will ultimately not take care of any effect. The government steady. Yeah? And the destruction of the arms and then will take place by the place and then on the dates that we don't mention. The exercise is being coordinated by the Major General Christian Fahim Mara, when I'm the commissioner for this institution here. So the initiative is a crucial part of Sierra Leone in effort for managing and control small arms and light weapons and aligned with the country's commitment to Arms Trade Treaty, ATT. The exercise involved the destruction of state-owned unserviceable weapons and exhibit weapons from the judiciary aimed at preventing these arms from falling into the wrong hands and mitigating the risk of violence. And finally, on the 17th of March 2025, in Freetown, the Directorate of Science, Technology and Innovation again, with the support of the United Nations Population Fund and UNFPA, then the spearhead a groundbreaking initiative for modernized Sierra Leone in Nursing and Midwifery Council through the development of centralized database system. This digital transformation will enhance the efficiency, security, and regulatory capabilities of the council, ensuring that only qualified professionals are certified for practice, meaning that they will get the right for practice. Healthcare regulation as alone is set to take a major step forward. The new database system will streamline core functions such as indexing, examination, registration, certification, verification of nurses and midwives right across the country. By moving from manual to digital operations, the SLNMC will enhance the oversight, reduce errors, and foster transparency in this sector. So we'll end the news update, and one more than news, that I think the President of Ghana, in country right now, and an official visit to His Excellency the President retired Brigadier Julius Maada and the government. I shall say the popular and very first visit and this since he become President of Ghana, and naturally you go expect say it will be an opportunity for deepening and strengthening ties between the two nations and the two governments, and also for continuing to look for ways and means for collaborating and partner, right, across all sectors. So then we'll get into discussions and then today and in the coming days, and then definitely I should say through the State House media team will be briefed fully with regards to the nature of the conversations. So I will tap the news updates for now, and then we'll pan out to which is supposed to be the subject matter, right, to the subject matter experts there. As we say, when we advertise this press conference, that the nature of this press conference today will be about all things revenue. That is why Madam will get the culture. General Maya, Madam make new brother says don't come from very busy schedule with Madam DG, Madam the honorable member says today, because not him responsible for this sector of parliament, and then they oversee and provide oversight for the sector. So I will start off with, I think it is reasonable for start with the financial sector. For obvious reasons. We will say all of routine that they prepare in terms of budget, where the minister can go in. The bulk of the work is being done by the able team around the minister, including the financial sector. All of them budgets discussions that they get for you with projected income on an annual basis. It's a sum total based on how they say, oh, this is grand, that is grand, that is grand. And so in that budget also, then we talk about budget gap and how they feel the gap that they see. They don't have this small show. After 6 years for this business, they explain, they follow a small, how you feel the budget gap that they work. Primarily, you expect revenue for coming, on a month-by-month basis, which you get first quarter, second quarter, third and fourth quarter. Madam ability for factor into all of them social programs or government impact. And the financial secretary, they capture all of them and they put them into the budget and that. Now, which is the happening with revenue generation? Now, as we talk, which is the picture looks like? Which are the challenges? Which are the good points? And how do we move forward in that sector overall? If I will come to the Commissioner General himself, where he will tell exactly what is happening and how the revenue is happening. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Silla, moderator. Good afternoon, all, to the press, and good afternoon to listeners or people who will watch me over the media. I'm happy for CAM, be part of this press conference on behalf of the Ministry of Finance for key updates or for tell the public on what we do on revenue mobilization, like the moderator puts the question across. Well, first of all, we all know say the kind of stats. Revenue are the core aspects of the government's budget. So which means the budget will they do every year. Now the revenue first we have to focus on to make sure that we identify all the areas that we revenue come out. We try to know how much we will get from the areas in the and then we put all of that together even before we ask about how we want to spend. We need to know first what we forget. So I make every year, and for generating revenue, you get to back and by law. I make it find where the member of parliament there, because the parliament is a mandate to the Minister of Finance. But as minister, the revenue measures they take through taxes, fees, fines, as the case might be. So every year we do what we call the Finance Act or Finance Bill. When an inside it, we put the things the rule want for identify as new, changes the rule for into the tax laws, and how for the minister how for make the tax system very efficient. And we take that into Parliament approve them, then it supports the programs and all inside the budget for we implement. So what's the happen to revenue as the moderator will see? Revenue is doing well in terms of performance because we work closely with the National Revenue Authority. But we have a revenue system who will say they're not that too predictable all the time. We will say, okay, I know exactly which I get today, tomorrow, next tomorrow, for 8 planning. So now that fluctuation, the challenges that we can experience in revenue. But at the end of the day, we can always identify what they create them fluctuations in the day. We address them, and then we see the revenue can come in and it will support the budget.
Very quickly, when you say revenue is doing well in terms of targets,
Yes.
Not only in performance, but in terms of targets.
Yes, because a target will be set for the National Revenue Authority for them to meet, for them to achieve. So last year, the first 6 months of the year, because we do like quarterly, semi-annually, and then annually, they surpassed the targets, more than 300 billion. We mentioned that even in the budget year in 2028. Towards the end of the year, when we don't assess for 2024, the CG will go in more detail. There we are 99 points, whatever percent. So which means, void of any other issues, it means the target was actually met. Because in the amount of accuracy, there could be transitory income that will not come in from the banking system by December 31, we don't hit. But when we will assess all of that, preliminarily, we believe in 2024 target was also met because 99% means almost perfect. Right? So if we don't do this first quarter, we don't see the revenue will be pick up again. We don't work with NRA. As we begin observing things they want to go down in terms of performance, especially like customs, the GST. I'll tell you about 3 or 4 weeks ago, over 2,000 of the ECR machines there, they don't really use them. Or just last week Friday, we will work with the service providers and they don't activate all of them. All of them they work now. So we don't begin to see the revenue they pick up. So expect by end of this first quarter, the revenue targets will also be met and going into the second quarter. So but like I said, now those are the challenges, fluctuations that they happen from time to time. But you therefore identify them quickly, they respond. So we'll go into the details of like the reforms they do on all the tax angles that we tell them, saying that this kind of reform will do, this kind of reform will do, so that we will begin address the fluctuations in the or predictability in the revenue. But so far, Mr. Chairman, if I can just put it that way, I think we are satisfied with what is happening at present of the domestic revenue mobilization. So we are on track for meeting the first quarter targets come next week, when at the March 31. With this first quarter done. And I will really step up. The last 2-3 weeks from last week to now, we lost a significant amount of revenue. We already collected, we don't kind of consulted revenue for.
Okay, I'll tell you plenty things. You talk about machines there to the tune of about 2,000, yes, where you say they're not being utilized. I don't know. Our Shorting Commissioner General eventually will work much further down there. How long the machines can they be out of use for? Is there any particular reason we can prefer as to why they're not being used then? Or?
Well, again, it's fine who we blame press conferences for the public. Because you see, tax now with responsibility now, like this is civic responsibility of we as citizens. The problem is once we the citizens they're not ready for comply, it make it easy for the business people then for them to implement the tax. So we as citizens and I work for say, because anything when you go for go buy, a shop, a supermarket, or whatever, you as a citizen, if you really don't see the legs alone, you want to make this country grow, they develop, ask for that NRA GST receipt. When someone they ask for them, you put pressure on the businessman for them to comply. But when you compromise, the man tells you, oh, if you want this, you want without the GST receipt, and this with GST and this. They say because the price will they pay. No, that low price we don't give you still include GST. But you don't like by you. So you see, so the payment you don't issue the receipts to you, then the tax left line hand. Then you don't pass on because NRA for capture inside the system because they use that machine. So that because of that compromise, most of we as citizens they do, and I think the business people they begin find a comfortable say, oh, I can sell for the 1 week, 1 month and not use the machine. Because even the people you can buy, then they ask me for receipts. So that makes them complacent. So what the machine they do after a certain period of time when you use them, they shut down. So pass will begin send people back for overround, for blue check, and that's a cost for administering the tax. But we as citizens, if we really make sure we insist, say any side we go, whether a hotel, restaurant, whatever, supermarket, you insist, say, give me that NRA GST receipt to the print to the NRA rights back. All businesses then they begin comply. I tell you, within 3 days, Mr. Chairman, when I call the service providers and the CG in our office, we say we want these machines up and running. When the business people, the Leone will say that kind of meeting they don't take place in the Ministry of Finance, and they all want them to line for what sends the machine back. So all of them, so within 3 days. So which means really the responsibility on both sides. Let me say really begin for demand that, and we government gets revenue. Let me explain one thing they say the country is like the citizens or they say a tax and they increase and everything. So let me tell you how I'm making a lie. The only institution in any society or country where they're able to make their resources go evenly right across the entire country and government. That private man, a young well-paid get or income is not for your institution, your company or whatever, for your personal self. It is for distributing wealth across the country. So now we have few people who enjoy our wealth. But we government, we collect that revenue, we all man pay money kind of compensate revenue for. What government is spend, and they go right behind what you do, that money they reach there. Because why would they pay teachers the way they did, would they pay hospitals the way they did, would they pay people the way they do businesses, where they clean the hospitals, the way they do diets, where they do it, would they pay them? So those monies they go far reaching, where they create multiplier effects in the economy, and they make the economy go faster because of we collect the tax and we distribute them evenly without any bias. When you pay for education, you know the people that you pay for. When you pay for hospitals or health, you know they pay. Anybody when they buy drugs, pay the doctors, pay everything, and it meets the benefits of all Sierra-Leoneans, all citizens. But if we don't pay the tax, the hospitals are not on, the schools are not on. Then now we as citizens, then we could easily content standard. Because governments don't get the ability to follow, collect the revenue, and send those resources to those areas and services for be provided. So that that's one on the civic education part, for all understand. Say, as the second standard, so ask, am I paying my taxes? Am I demanding? Because you still go by, you still consume every day. But because they left that private money and they don't pass them over to government, now in one they decide, now whether there's a minimum money they get that money. You may not have been you. So because him cannot carry out the function of government, you know, pay policeman his salary, you know, pay the military salary, you know, pay for the energy they consume, you know, pay, right? You know, pay for water, you know, pay for road, you know, pay because it takes us in a big money. But when it comes to government, now government they only deliver the public services. So that make we really say, if we as citizens we have to take part in that line, they will definitely see the resources they go everywhere in the country and we will see development there.
Okay, thank you very much, FS. I think one important takeaway, for the one that we get the machines there, up until now, we will not house them, as you said, they have a problem. And I don't hear it from the financial sector, on behalf of the ministry, anybody will get a machine a day, we will keep them. And they deny governments of much needed revenue. We can go back at you. You depend on ballet business. You take them in the you keep out, you depend on that kind of thing. You give people a receipt. You don't go get you to you don't go compromise with you. And I'm sure in the books there are penalties for people that will take their machines and we're supposed to forget their machines and they will not utilize them. And if you let sit down a penalty and they beat you, or you know they will talk for you. And you and the law, now we'll talk to myself now, waiting for happy and happy. So on that note, I will ask the Commissioner General because NRA, this is not you second in, you were there, Deputy Minister, and then you are back. I'm sure my testament of strength of character, but then also knowing your onions. You know your job, you know your place. What is the NRA like since you got in? I'm sure this is the first time we'll get you in a press conference. Also, second time. within the NRA booklet now for you, within not the way forward, how do we continue forward? As I first don't say, how do we continue to sustain this momentum, making sure, say, we don't have fluctuations such as along the way.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. One for say plenty I do to from them way in the home and one day when they listen to me. I want to apologize for my voice. I get small cold. I've been feeling from this morning. I will take medicine for clear the voice. Well, I get me supported team there, so just in case if the voice will give me. I want to tell you first, thank you for way you don't set roots and you don't make the ground a little bit soft. I want to go to 2022 to just make somebody know how revenue don't go over time. You know, I will tell you for fact, say from 2022 to now, 2024 actually, revenue don't go over 50%. You know, in 2022, the revenue will be coming about 7.1 billion. And then 2023, we bring in about 10.1 billion. And then 2024, we just end with FS talk about 14.560 billion. And now, the target is for 2025, 18.9. So from 2022 to 2024, the revenue don't grow steadily, you know, close to 50%. And that's a good testament of what NRA do, the reforms them. What we'll put in place to just make sure, say, as FS mentioned, that the revenue is more predictable. Because what's in revenue, what it means to make revenue more predictable? If we set a target for, say, every day we will bring in 50 or 100 billion or 100,000, important that we bring an income without a fail. If that did not happen, the Ministry of Finance is not going to do what it's supposed to do. So the current state of the National Revenue Authority, I will tell somebody to say, is strong. It is great, and the reforms that we want to put in place don't begin yield results. When I come back in 2024, we will get some reforms that we don't left over from the Finance Act, where the Ministry of Finance will pass, we will not be fully implemented. So in 2024, we will implement many of those reforms then. And I will tell you for free that in 2025, there are reforms that don't begin to hold matter, they don't begin to take ground. For example, we get the SIPA, you know, where we don't implement, and there are two implementations that reforms. We do one when our fair market, for make sure say all the field and where they come in this country, where we use, whether not for commercial use, whether not for retail or for concession, we mark them. And it's important that especially for the concession, for make we mark them because the concession will become 90 mining companies that they use, and they not they pay tax or they pay very little tax. And we realize over time, when I feel they come into the markets, that they come back into the markets and sell them for profit. We're not good for government because one, you get feel where you don't pay taxes for, or you pay very little taxes for. And then if you can't come back in the market, you can't sell them. That means you cheat the government twice. So we don't make sure say the market don't begin correct and we monitor that going forward. We also don't begin the tax stamps. All the alcoholic beverages where they manufacture in country, and then even the one where they import, so they make sure say we mark them. As FS mentioned, we all get the civic, and I'm glad it is a civic education with IBA. We get the civic responsibility for make sure say all the tax stamps the more that they see. Make sure say anything where they buy, including water, although we not get excise from water, but make sure say everything where they buy for drink. You can forget the stamp. If you not get the stamp, you get for aquarium. And then also if you get the stamp, you can make sure say the stamp put it on the beverages that they don't activate the stamp. We get this device what they call checkout. When an app will get on your phone, Google and to download app. If you want to make sure say the stamp where they on the drink, it don't activate, because if you don't activate, when they get the excise. So make sure say you download that app there and make sure say you check out every time when you're in a supermarket before you buy the drink so you get the stamp. We also make sure say we don't implement the insult. Insult is not a system where we latch into the telecoms system where they tell me exactly real-time data, all of the activities and the data where the telephone companies that they use, all that they use, for make sure that we get the right GST. So we don't implement that. we don't implement a lot of other reforms to make sure say the revenue we need for bring come in don't come in. As FS mentioned, the first quarter, January, February, we begin sluggishly. But what thing we do, we all come together as a team in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance, and we ginger up to make sure say things that begin happening. And what thing we do at the NRA, we don't identify 21 measures then. And those 21 measures then they're across all of the operational departments then. Whether DTD, whether customs, whether NTR, but just make sure say all the leakages then where we don't identify within the system that these measures then will begin for correct them. Whether how customs things are happening, how goods are cleared, how will they value the goods them, whether will they value the goods them with, whether DTD, FS mentioned the GST. The GST now one area down there where we work very hard for make sure so we improve them. Because other countries them around the world, now GST now they depend on 40% of the revenue stream, the revenue where they come in, that from GST. And the reason why it's important that we make sure that we streamline the GST, how they collect them, because not of the businessman in money. Now you money, you where they can buy, you where they can provide service or buy goods. The money where they pay, the GST where they pay for council government, for make sure say government provide the services the way you need, now you money. So that's why it is important. Anytime where you go, anytime where you buy, now for ask for your GST. If you sell, you're not a business person. Make sure say you give you GST. Because if you not give the GST or you not ask for the GST receipt, the GST where they pay, they come to government. So we at the NRA, we don't put in a lot of measures, and we will continue for make sure say the measures that we don't put in place will all water. And we know say we're not going to experience the impact right away. So then they want to right away. We don't already begin experience the impact. But other one then we got to make sure say it will take time, and it will take you for make sure say we get to Wusan, we get forget. But I go on for time now, and then for just give assurance to family them say NRA will they put in with double best, but just make sure say we meet revenue targets not only for the quarter but for the year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner General. No say the voice not particularly perfect, but it is excellent. I mean the room small, and we're all able to forget exactly which you don't say. One quick question I will ask. In terms of the 21 measures, are they internal measures? Will they help for drive revenue overall?
So the measures then are both internal and external. So for example, internal get for do with the GST machines then for make sure say the GST machines that like FS mentioned, the one they want to work because the way we get the system set up and a part of the control measure. If the taxpayer not use them for a couple of, I think a month or so, it is shut down. And if it shuts down, that means of course when we use the machine once it shuts down. So they make sure say we continuously monitor for make sure say the systems are working, the machines are working. And then we make some internal changes then within the ECR machine unit, but just make sure say the bad habits. Yeah. Because normally when started only in one place for a very long time, they develop a bad habit. So we don't change some people them around. Externally, I know say family only because this is CDC, when I've been a big thing in the news and it's still there in the news. What did we realize say when it comes to clearing, the importance then nobody use the right document. So what thing we do, we implement that document the way they come out to the private company, we don't put for it and do the evaluation for we. That documentation they will use. So that's one of the internal measures and more we for use. But the measures of the 21 measures, both the internal and the external, will therefore affect almost everybody and we put it to everyone for just make sure say they support me for making sure say those measures hold.
Thank you very much. Well noted. Thank you. In this conversation, as I said earlier, Parliament gets very serious responsibility. We know say Parliament get various groups. Yeah, we're supposed to supervise almost every single sector, Even for we serve information, I remember say at some point, so MPs then come, and it is bipartisan, by the way, that both APC and SLPP MPs have now they form the supervisory committees and the brother Honorable Selu, it particularly as it relates to revenue mobilization at this committee. So, from you what you don't do in terms of your oversight responsibility, how you see the efforts from both the NRA, the Ministry of Finance, and if there is any, if you do an agreement with those internal measures and external measures 21, where they don't roll out, how for influence some of the thing and which will now continue for doing in terms of supervisory responsibility to ensure say we don't on track and we don't cause any kind of revenue mobilization.
Thank you very much, Fambulen, for Jonathan for this particular prayer briefing this afternoon when I will be here and when we watch you out. We as Parliament, we rule clearly defined in the Constitution. One of the rules then, we the legitimate body for make law in Section 105 of the Constitution. We talk about powers to make law, and the Constitution make that 1991 Constitution make it very clear and it's explicit. Concerning the role, we supervise the role, Section 93, Section 3, Section 6. A and B make it very clear and mandatory that now we get a responsibility for oversee the operations of MPAs in this country. And we even get rights in Section 93, Section 6B for compel witness to produce documents, even via problems examine you. So in relation to a specific question, NRA, we being at the Deputy Chair of Finance Committee for this the fifth Parliament. So this time, I don't deal with the committee. I don't deal with CGs them from 1, 2, I think I third one this way. We don't deal with as a committee. We will basically we don't enact the finance bill. We don't want to act now. We don't need the power for them to go out and collect the revenue. The good thing about this particular 2025 Finance Act is that we not put no new tax measure, no new tax in a particular bill. Which will do compliance and enforcement clauses that we have there. Like for example, for land tax periods, before this time, the bigger responsibility for pay, but there were no penalties if contravention there. But in this new act, which will do, we come up with serious fines for discouraging from dodging. So NRA that power get the rights as per law established or go after them and pay them only if they default within a specific period of time. We are very clear. Will not be a part of the previous Finance Act that will pass. Will be the actual one left and right. But this one will put measures in place where they tighten the boat more and give NRA a better platform and a better atmosphere for after people that will default, not just for paying out or for paying with fines. I think that are some very good measures that they will put in place in this new Finance Act. The committee will supervise the role. Now we oversee the Ministry of Finance and under that you get Bank of Salon, they get the NRA. I don't get the CG where they are right now. We don't go around last year. We don't see some of the issues there. I will not bring that to in a form of report. We don't discuss the issues there. Like in the talk, one key thing we are really glad the way they talk about leakages. We talk about leakages. I think that 19 way they don't talk about as a CG, and we as Parliament, I think that they can focus for ensure say all the tax handle there and the various custom appointed or positions in this country. And therefore, in Chelsea, we go because we represent citizens. Now we will entrust the power for Chelsea. We bring them people to put the handle your money there. I think that the way we therefore put some serious efforts into and Chelsea really if the leakages are something we get evidence for. We try to close that gap and put that into the consolidated fund so that will give more revenue for able for address some of the social needs because we get a social contract with the government, we know the citizens and we move for deliver and there is no way to deliver without revenue generation. And some of the partners that we are around us and the European Union, they are very key on internal revenue generation. One of the performance indicators they speak to that they very clearly. How do you generate your own income? Because the money will come from taxpayers. If we are able to generate money for local taxpayers, then it means they will put their money for support you. They will put that for it. So one of the key performance indicator for the money, the European Union. Now, one fundamental indicator that they will for it, and I think say NRL how we hearing from the FS and the CU itself, we don't make significant progress up to 50%. I think that is huge and that is good. Although we push for 19.5%, or 50% border market and we push for more, following more. And how we will do as Parliament for take on the neck and ensure see what we collect this money because then we don't see tax collection in this country. We're not able for go cashless 100%. Because once we go cashless, then one risk that as well. Because seeing physical cash, handling physical cash is tempting. But when they get electronic means of collecting revenue, I think we will not utilize that it minimize the fees as well because it's centralized and when you don't collect tax now, straight up you don't show up that the central system. I think that is something very key and that can rule as Parliament as ensuring the next network constitution, section 93, subsection 3 and section 6. I want for all of us, Mr. Roberto and CEO team, whose question will coming in from Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Selu, for your own part of this conversation in terms of what Parliament will do in an oversight responsibility and how you see the work we NRA, obviously under the supervision of the Ministry of Finance, where they do. A few questions don't come up. In no particular order, but I suspect it will be between Financial Secretary and the Comptroller General. Somebody tried to ask, say, why would I not set up a task force for tax compliance? I don't know whether they actually mean setting up as in setting up, or a new interpretation would be waiting at the mechanisms they all get because it's already in place. In terms of just for ensure say people that way supposed to pay tax, they pay that tax compliance basically. And then I may understand we cannot say physical in terms of setting up a particular task force because their structures are not already supposed to exist by new knowledge. Second, they talk about the tax exemptions they own and the mining companies. The accusation is, at least from this gentleman who's sending this message, that their mining companies are getting tax exemptions for fuel. In return, when they get the fuel, they go sell it. So then they make money out of tax exemption, and then the profit double one. They don't get to pay. Another gentleman sending a message, they asked, waiting at the main challenges there. Oh, at the face for digitize. I know the right honorable members say, the more we move into a cashless society, truth be told, the better it is for us in terms of financial transactions. Yeah? Because that is why, if you go in other countries there, you go in the West, any partner in the West, it's a cashless society for the most part. You don't literally need to go to a bank and go take money and for move on from one point to the other. It's easy, transactions they happen at your fingertips, because that's how much progress the government and we get some room for hope. Very recently, I'm sure financial secretary knows that I think through the bank of Salon and the bank with this national switch, all in an effort to make sure say we get yourself in a position where we will use other means for transact business rather than having to physically take them and get them from one point to another. So, how much we don't do? Just very briefly, first on this national switch day, in addition to the questions there, for ensure still we get ourselves to that point that we, at some point, maybe not be this year, maybe next year, maybe the year after, but that's that deliberate effort in policy move for getting to the employment day.
Okay, thank you very much, Moderator, and the people who asked those questions. Like you already see, the first one on the task force, it's already established. We get a domestic revenue task force in place, hold on, set up, and for sure how collaborative we want for be and open and transparent. We even invite non-state actors into the task force because they are out there. They say they see what they go on, whether the customs or the domestic tax aspect, knowledge they will get on what are the problems in the revenue administration. We invite them into the task force for camp, and then they say it's waiting which measures the government for put in place for make clear we will harness the potential of revenue. So that task force only limit, they don't hold 2 meetings already, and they don't come up with recommendations there on some measures. Mining exemption, tax exemption, this is one thing we say everybody frustrated about it. Right? But it's like when you have something where it's so difficult for me to do away with, or let you say as a country, I can stand and say any mining will complement and they are no exemption. Now the first thing is most of the agreements we will get now agreement they don't take for long, they don't go through parliament, they don't ratify them. So really on the aspect of ease of doing business, government is very easy that you can only take an agreement to say they nullify them, you want for do a new one. It frustrates the private sector, they say Salon to put side for good business, you get agreement to the government where they can cancel them. So it's difficult along the way for going to those agreements and say I remove all these exemptions. But what we don't do innovatively for address this challenge, now we don't say now let government begin take part in the mining through state participation. So let government set up their own structures in place. When we set now they sit with whoever wants to invest in the mining, then we agree on how they share the proceeds of the mining. So we don't go for the world say we give away anything to tax exemption because government itself is part of it. So we don't set up the Israeli mines being as the government corporation to act of parliament set up. And now we have the Mineral and Wealth Fund as well, which has been set up. That body now they go into negotiation of any new mining lease agreement or mining investments which will come into Sierra Leone. And how the model they use now is state participation, which means they don't left 100% anymore to the private man for country line they dictate what he wants, what he don't want, and then we get all the taxes, we go away, then we don't get anything. Now we are going to participate, which means we share profits based on agreed terms. We share proceeds on the exports. If you are exporting how many billions, we say, okay, you take this percent, government will take this percent, the money come back into the country. If the company make profit, which also will get dividends, just like how our shareholders they say they get dividends, we invest into it. So this model, and we are just 2 years into its development, we are getting there gradually. Once it take off, we will begin forgetting all the existing private concessions the way they go on. Yes, like I say, it's not easy for them to alter them now because it will create a lot of disruption. When I will begin to say, don't care, government go courts. And most of the laws, then they were agreements there. They will say the arbitration can only be done outside of Sierra Leone. So which means first we begin send with lawyers and for go out, for go fight case, or we hire international lawyers of government for go defend you. And you know the inside your country. So you can't be assured of doing any good thing for winning case study. So we allow those agreements, then they go on, but now we don't think innovatively, let the state self-participate now in the mining, so that shortly we begin get over most of the concessions they are willing to buy the companies. on the digitalization, the digital aspect on revenue, like you say, Chairman, the national switch will come and we work with NRA. That's what we all want to see. Let we reduce the human interaction as far as paying taxes is concerned. All the tax handles them, one for make sure through your phone, through your device, you for able to declare your customs, whatever, they show you valuation, you they pay online, you go there, you queue confirmation, you just go declare everything. You pay your GST, you pay everything. That process they go on side. And they will tell you, say, some of the tax angles are already digitized, but now with the payment switch, we will try to make sure say they are synced together, integrated interface, and they will try to find a way how to develop them into applications that we will get inside any phone or computer or whatever we will access to for the paying taxes. So that is ongoing. The customs administration will have way of discussion with that for see how we digitize all the aspects from the both the bulk as well as the containerized carbon account, how we go to a single window where you sit down, you have the web portal where they tell you from the declaration, you bill of lading, you ship in line, waiting for people to ship agency, to your clearing, to your whatever, all you do inside one platform, they give you bill, you log in, you pay directly to your bank account. You don't need for good on customs. You don't need for good to nobody. So that project is also in its inception stage. We will negotiate now. We believe say before end of this year, by God's grace, we will get that system in place. We will give more transparency into how we administer the revenue system through digital and automation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sij. When it comes to digitalization, just like we have say, internally we are way ahead. One of the things that we want to do this year, we don't begin to integrate the systems in. So, for example, we don't integrate the system and customs. We're at the Asiguda world with the system that are DTD, we're ITAS. So when an importer they come in now, we say they pay import GST and customs. That amount where they pay, they automatically pre-fill and go to the ITAS and go so don't wait for you and wait for the time where you're ready for do your lodgement. In the past, that process was manual, and just like what we all say, anytime when we get a heavily manual system, things get lost in translation. But now that we don't begin integrating systems that internally, they don't begin to help. And we also work for integrating systems outside. So we need for integrating systems then NIA with that at the bank, if not with IFMIS, but also the Bank of Sierra Leone with the national switch. We also need for integrating systems that we work for integrate with systems that with other MDAs then. Because we get MDAs and for now, where they do things manually, they file their taxes manually, whether PAYE or withholding taxes. So one, they need to register with we as the NRA, and then once they register, where we integrate our systems. But just like we all don't agree, cashless society is the best way for make sure say we protect revenue. And we at the NRA, we don't begin this process from 2018. We don't continue to improve on it, and we can only continue to get better. But just make sure say we secure taxes. Mr. Moderator, I just want to correct myself. I think in my opening I mentioned say revenue don't grow by 50% from 2022. It was an error on my part. From 2022, it was an error on my part. Revenue don't actually grow by 100% from 2022 to 2024, which we don't bring that in. So I just want to make that correction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Not sure I do it. Thank you very much. So, the floor is open for questions. 2 banks of 5. It not necessarily need for me restricted to this conversation. So, if you get any other question as related to government or government activity, I will try to give my best shot. Yes, first 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Yes.
Yeah. And then Mahmoud Sula, from the Nature newspaper. There two concerns. One to CD and
See if you go at one go, not two. One go opportunity here.
okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, CD, the last time we say the rental income, do it well. We start doing a put in place or let the rental income that perform well. FS, last month we elected technical chairman for technical committee Wama. One of the things we use for do for ensure say unless I don't meet with this alcohol the single currency. So for the benefit of the listeners, with your chairmanship, what things alone will benefit, what things alone will allow you to commit to currency.
Noted. Thank you. Second.
I mean, like, to read the last again, you get it. Mr. FS.
You get one question. Make up your mind whether you ask. You get one question.
Call for citizens to make them pay their tax, for help government, for doing projects across the country. It's fine. But we talk about the issue of fluctuation. This fluctuation, I know say it hinder government. And we hope to forget budget discussion, just not talk about the first quarter where you say it meet expectation. But here in here out, MPs that they come and present the budget the way they try to tell public, say, even up to now, they're not even able to get the first quarter. Not to talk about the second quarter. Waiting at this problem where because with MD they always cry as a result of we talk about fluctuation. Maybe the last one.
Noted. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Mena Bokai at the right for the newspaper. Madam Commissioner, I want to know because few weeks ago we see the general public, the guy say the price of container will go up from 150 to 250. Can you please service the price of container so that we the people them outside will know them and Mr. Honorable sir, please, and you will help me.
No. What person? And then number 5. No, that's possible. No. And then you.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm young and concerned, but I didn't want to discuss that. As social media, then picking the municipal, disaster school, the old placard, and to say we want to see to us. I want to know if they're not put in place for them.
Okay. No, it's not about you take the second one and get one like that. You don't say you get all the time at the world, we only might ask us many questions.
Govt. The Break newspaper editor. My name is Comment. The question is for the NRACG. Very recently, President Bio expressed displeasure about revenue generation. Say the NRA must step up the effort for let them generate more revenue. Because January, February, NRA not meet the target. So waiting you as the head of the NRA don't do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that's it. Commissioner General, you want to go first?
Okay, the ones that we direct to me are two of them. On the stable currency, yes, as chairman of the technical committee for the WAMS, So a new date has been set for 2027 for us to migrate to the new currencies, Sierra Leone, Ghana, and the English-speaking countries. Same also for harmonize with the French-speaking West African countries. So we don't start the technical work now. We will meet now in February in Sarina, where I chair most of those discussions. They went very well, and we will continue this summer in August in Liberia. So we don't put the targets in place what we achieve for the first 6 months. The whole meet in Liberia in August. We will report on the milestone targets ahead. They will set another 6 months target in February next year. We will take control. But all the countries and the bank governors and Minister of Finance, they will not agree to that new timeline of 2027 for all get the new currency. But what's not the advantage this time around compared to 20 years ago when this discussion started? Now we talk about this digitization, what happen? Because now money transfer systems are only now with the digital transfer of funds across borders. Now it will make them happen even faster because initially you need for travel from Sierra Leone, you go Ghana, you go to dollar, you change that for before you buy it. Now you don't even need that. If you get EcoBank card, for example, which you don't snare, you still go, you use the card, you buy by your card. Then they will do money transfer across from other apps or whatever. So that digitization, you know, they try to see how they migrate and how with the relevance of the echo, right? And so we have to make sure say all the systems they all integrate now and the sub-region in terms of money transfer, in terms of the transaction, then we see how they sync the echo into one. So that's the end for the single currency to come in as quickly as possible. On the development of budget allocation, yes, as you see, FDA is there. But I'm sure mostly, we see looking reports to any ministry, government agency, they get two aspects of the budget, right? The one when at the end they need contracts to deliver services to them, right? For the supplies the way they get to the service. Then the other aspects when for run the ministry internally, right? They like pay, water, this and that. So most of the time they complain at the internal. The light bills, water, and these things will delay. But if you ask them, what's up to your service providers? How much have they paid? Some of them will pay and we will pay more. Right? So the people will provide services to them, will supply their goods and services, will contracts them. So that aspect of the debate now always therefore they look at and say whether they give priority to the service providers or to the internal running of the MDAs. Right? But at the end of the year, we can still always strive for catch up and pay the internal expenditures and for pay the light bills and utility, other utility bills for letting on. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much, FS. So I want to tell you thank you, first of all, for what you confirmed before. So when we came the last time, one of the issues concerns the annual rental income. So what we don't do since that time, we don't begin look at the roles that we will get to pertain to rental income. And then what we don't embark on seriously a project called BMS, a block management system. We start with the go from area to area for make sure say we register as many businesses. We don't realize say when we go far east and then far west going towards Sussex and other places, then we don't get a lot of businesses that we don't crop up, whether a rental income or what have you. So we don't embark on the block management system for register as many businesses that bring them come into the data so we will analyze them. And few years, I think 1 or 2 years ago, we also worked with City Council because City Council will do registration of also properties around the city. So they partner with them, forget that data we then get, so we will identify the ones that are in rental income, so we'll continue for building them. But I can assure you that the rental income tax only will grow and we will continue for work on them. So thank you for reminding me on that. The question with the taxes specifically, how much a container costs. I'm not going to sit on here and tell you exactly how much a container costs, because you know the containers they come from different places, the contents are different, and all of that is different. So now, for it's the law, we determine how we assess. It's based on the invoice where you get, it's based on the origin of the country. So now, for that, we get a private company one mentioned earlier, ITS, that they get the contract for evaluate the container because they get a scanner and they get all of that, which they work together for determine how much somebody for pay as far as the taxes are concerned. But what if they refer to, what if it only happen, then past weeks, and when a part of the measures that we don't put in place, we don't determine, say, we work now closer with the agency, the company where they do the evaluation. We just make sure that the documents where they come out to them, the amount where they put that documents, now we they use, and then they bring a little kuskas between we and the importers them. But what we don't do the last 2 weeks, don't begin to talk to ourselves. Even yesterday, we began to meeting where the Chamber of Commerce meeting. We all come together, begin to talk to each other, don't begin to understand. But we make them very clear to them, say the governments need money. And if the governments need money, if anything will they happen out of the way, any bad practice will they happen where they create government for lost money, we go make sure say we lock down all the, and that's what we begin to do. We're not going to sit down and tell you exactly how much a container costs because it depends on what side they come out and it depends on what's in the inside that container. So my brother we talked about what's begin happening, how we start at the beginning of the year. I mentioned earlier, say we don't develop 21 measures and corrective measures where we don't begin to put in place. So just make sure, say, the revenue will begin sluggishly in January and February, we will begin for recovery from them. So the measures that we don't put in place, just as I don't say, it not only get for do with the NRA, it get for do with almost everybody where they are and outside of here. So just make sure, say, where you go, you buy, ask for your GST receipt. If you sell, give you GST receipts. So we will continue for work in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and everybody else, every citizen. But just make sure, say, the way revenue begin January quarter well and at the same perspective.
Morning coffee, and this. So this not for me, not for the minister. Then issues the day of beginning and they will themselves they get challenges, but register not accurate. Because it is at the expense of government, even the private, where government began for pay for insurance, the government did show last year. And Conrad Saki has had some huge influence, and then FCI. I shall say there's a conclusion of for members of
Yes, I said no, money we don't lose. If small groups and more waiting the commission.
Okay.
One day work out within they will not publish it again. And now I reflect on what happened is it for and I will be by the election. Waiting happen.
Financial Secretary Mohammed Imar of the Watch
is entitled for us any question. Just so now. Gentlemen.
Mohammed, now you talk. Financial resources, micro, and apply. What would you say to that?
After 6 years explaining the economy,
the watch steadily, or at the same time, how well government
because also
I will start with the last one. Government they use revenue to improve the lives of our people, for the lives of our people, and GST. I guess the experience we be getting, and I'm glad we were able to see it. And going forward and encourage education is critically important. Taxpayer education. So I just want for engage on what you see, and so take make sure say people will be paid and when it goes. But just I will assure you, as Sania, with very real for border control and management. Other paramount chiefs and local authorities because they do their job. What's now we roll as the NRA. What's now all around because the border is porous, local county, they meet with only for also for security purposes. We're able to don't tell you exactly how much grouping them. We get some border and micro find the problem. We don't unblock them and so every time when you go out there.
The question then tell Fabula again price index. Thank you.
That's why with the whole amount with education, they do the whole sessions and the various districts, the stakeholder education, very important for me for that, and you understand. So that's where education, so with development partners then, like you said, whatever agreements and they come out, So a partnership. That's why we work with them. We show it to just give you that comfort saying that we are February 2024 we are talking
repeat again. So when
0.3% in February 2025. Why? And the basket was that the inflation in the media over and not cover the one country. So all the 16 districts that's 13.8%.
State will enforce salon. That is the situation in this country. We have saved. We will have the top of anything. Nobody is saying things that we feel so critical about. This is one indication. I've never seen a government in this house where not able to do that kind of a U-turn in the country.